If you like this episode, please rate the podcast 5 stars, 6 and take it home. This podcast is a member of Bun Collective.
You make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. Come on,
Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. And this is the MTV Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. We woke up Wednesday morning with a unfortunate news with Jared Jarrett's passing. Jared Jarrett is the co-founder of Total Nonstop Action, now known as Impact Wrestling. And of course, their legacy will never be forgotten. And the case of TNA. He passed away at the age of 80, no cause of death mentioned as of today's recording. We're sending our condolences to the friends, family, and fans of Mr. Jerry Jarrett. For now, we're going to have a 10 bell salute, which afterwards, we're going to have our regular podcast programming since wala naman akong ganun sasabihin. We're sending our condolences once again to the family of Jared Jarrett rather. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to do a 10 bell salute. Right after this, we're going to have our regular programming here on the podcast.
Cinephiles is back, now in season 4.
For real?
For real!
Cinephiles is a film review podcast made by self-proclaimed cinephiles.
For self-proclaimed film lovers. Or kahit hindi, you do you boo.
So come visit our cinema lobby when you can and listen to our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast.
Okay, so welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. This is the MTG Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. Ayun, so hindi ko ginagawa tong intro na to for at least 6 episodes na this year. Hindi ko na siya ginagawa kasi I believe na kailangan ko na siya in-norm out. But we have to do this intro for this week's episode because we just did 10 bell salute to our Hall of Famer Jared Jarrett, the father of the legendary wrestler Jeff Jarrett. Yun. So Jared Jarrett was the owner. Wait lang, mali yung term ko. Jared Jarrett was the guy who introduced us to Total Nonstop Action and not Jeff Jarrett. But still, we respect Jeff Jarrett for his contributions to the company. And of course, there are father and son connection nga eh, di ba? But yeah, we respect the Jarrett Jarrett family. We're sending our condolences to the family of Jarrett. Okay. So today's episode of the podcast, we are predicting the Sunday's Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. Plus, we are going to preview some of the matches for the upcoming Battle in the Valley pay-per-view from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And of course, we're going to do our thoughts and reaction of this week's wrestling, obviously. So before we mention that, so we're inviting you to join our Patreon and of course our Discord. So join our Patreon for more exclusive content. Syempre, yung ating review for the Elimination Chamber will be up on the Patreon paywall. And of course, Battle in the Valley. Some matches of the Battle in the Valley event will also be reviewed on this Sunday's review on our Patreon and Gank. So join us, patreon.com/the MTG Show Pod and on ganknow.com/the MTG Show Pod. Yan. So yun lang naman. Mag-introduce na tayo ng bagong category doon sa ating Gank ay ating Patreon, no, sa ating tier para medyo makaan naman tayo. Ayun, please support the show by donating to the show and supporting the show in the process as well here on the podcast. Okay, so let's start the thing with our AEW thoughts. No? So we have 8-man tag. Okay, so may 8-man tag started the show. The Orange Cassidy, the Acclaimed, and Daddy. Wait lang, but kailan pa ba natawag na Daddy as ito si Billy Gunn? Kasi as far as I know, is still Billy Gunn a few days ago. Then, they are now calling him Daddy Ass. So I'm going to call him Billy Gunn, no? Versus Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, si Satnam Singh, and si Sajay Dutt. I'm glad that Jarrett, Lethal, and Satnam didn't got the pinfall of this match. And I'm glad then that Jeff Jarrett competed on this match despite of the news of the passing of his father, Jared Jarrett. And so may tribute din doon, which is great. I love the tribute there. Yeah. So some matches of Revolution announced for March 6, 2023. We're going to do a recap right now. So first is John Moxley versus Adam Page. The match is set for Revolution in a Texas Death Match. Then obviously the title match, MJF versus Bryan Danielson. 60-minute Iron Man match. Then we have Samoa Joe versus Wardlow for the TNT title. TNT title lang, yes. Then a 4-way tag titles match between the Guns, then the Acclaimed. Tapos 2 more participants will be determined in the next couple of weeks. So also announced on the show this week that Mark Briscoe, the brother of Jay Briscoe, who died earlier this year, is now all elite. He signed a contract with AEW. He's now 2-0. He defeated Josh Broods. Josh Brood. Josh Woods. Like, what the fuck? What I'm writing here? Ano ba yan? Ang pangit talaga ng sulat ko. Sabi ko, Josh Woods. Okay, it's Josh Woods. He was defeated by Mark Briscoe. Yeah. So, also, the Lucha Bros returned on TV. Yeah. Okay. Okay lang. Then, so we have a segment as well, MJF and Christopher Daniels. So, parang winayaran ni Christopher Daniels ni MJF si Christopher Daniels. But, he, he said the opposite. He said the opposite things to MJF na you're going to lose at Revolution to Brian Danielson. I wish he would. Okay. So, he assaulted Christopher Daniels and then Brian Danielson saved the day. And yeah, that's the segment. Then we have ayun, so Jack Perry versus Brian Cage and yun, Christian Cage returned. Like uh, like sobrang ano is I understand the injury case here, but why? Why on Christian? Why on Jack Perry, man? Why? Like why? The story is done, man. Nakalimutan ka na ni Jack Perry, Luchasaurus. Jack, anong pangalan na? Nakalimutan ko talaga yung pangalan nito eh. Si Jungle Boy. Putang ina. Then, suddenly, Christian is inserting himself back to the picture. Like, that's shit, man. Come on. Book us something new, TK. Yaman-yaman mo, di ka man lang makapag-book ng bago storylines. Dayon. So, continue natin. So, we have the obvious announcement. The match. Hangman Moxley faced off with Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. So, they cornered Hangman and they want to settle things up in a Texas Death match at Revolution March 5 in March 6 ba? March 5. March 6. Yeah, March 6. Then, the main event of this week's Dynamite was a three-way for wala. Basically wala. So we have Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker versus Tony Storm. And Ruby Soho getting the win. Pero yung loyalty ni Ruby Soho was questioned by both the champion, Jamie Hayter, and Saraya. Wala eh, medyo blanco pa si Ruby Soho eh. Parang ayaw niya makisali dito. But eventually, sasali to eh. Feeling ko sasali to sa side nila Stone Storm, nila Saraya. Ito yun naman feel ko. Si Soho kasi, she's focused on the women's title rather than the homegrown versus former WWE feud na doon ng mga invaders, whatever ko naman tamang term dito. But yeah, we're getting that feud probably at Revolution, then Blood and Guts. Kung ano yung mangyayari build dito, wala na akong pakialam. Kasi I don't have any faith on this build. I swear to God. I wish this feud will be better na lang sa execution ng match itself. Sa kung saan man gaganapin. Pero, sabihin ko na dito sa podcast, wala na akong pakialam sa build na doon. Sa Rhea, Tony Storm, thing nga ito. Wala na akong pake. It's just uninteresting for me. Okay, let's continue with our WWE talk. So, obviously, we have back-to-back promos between Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes on Raw last week. And then now, Sami Zayn and Cody this week on Raw. So, guys, di ko na ikikwento ano yung nangyari sa promo. Gusto ko panoorin nyo. I swear to God, these two specific promos just shake up the whole damn thing. Insert na rin natin yung SmackDown, Heyman, and Sami Zayn. So, these very promos just shake up the whole thing for WrestleMania. So, obvious naman na Roman will retain the title later on. May pag-usapan natin sa predictions. But, this very build-up of these three feuds, actually three feuds na binibuild nila right now, pinagmumukha nilang unpredictable itong possible main event of WrestleMania. Yung main event of WrestleMania will be revealed once we cut the final match at the Elimination Chamber between Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns, which is we're going to predict later on our podcast predictions. Okay. So of course we have Sheamus, Drew McIntyre in action. Yeah, I'm good with that. And they're going to compete next week against the Viking Raiders. Okay, I'm good with that. Then, WWE is position... Wait lang. Ano ba tamang term dito? Pinoposition nila right now si Lacey Evans as possibly candidate for... Sino ba champion natin? Charlotte Flair. Pinoposition nila si Lacey for a barricade match maybe versus Charlotte Flair. And, ayun, parang di natin nakuha yung match 2020. So, most likely makukuha natin siya ngayon in a different character na ni Lacey. I hope we can get that soon. No? Then, Ronda Rousey made her return. No one wants you, idiot. Ba't ka pa bumalik, putya? We don't need you anymore. We don't need you on the tag title picture. Why? Why we have Ronda Rousey here, man? Like, put her on something. We don't need her on the SmackDown anymore. Yeah, no. So we got the undisputed tag titles match. The Usos, Jey Uso returned to the arena for the first time since the Royal Rumble, and then he competed in the match versus Ricochet and Braun Strowman. And the Usos retained the titles. Then afterwards, segments afterwards, Jey Uso and Sami Zayn interact with each other. So, di ba nagka-promo nga si Sami noon. Then, nag-interact si Jay at si Sami. Like, holy fuck. This thing is just pulling us inside and outside down. We're pulling this shit out upside down, man. And things are getting interesting and slowly becoming and binibigyan na tayo ng ideya on what we're getting for WrestleMania. Obviously, then finally, Madcap Moss won a 4-way match to determine the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental title. The title will be defended this week on SmackDown. So versus Gunter and Montreal. Then on Raw, so we have 2 matches made official for EC. Number 1, Brock Lesnar and Lashley set for WWE Elimination Chamber. They got a contract signing. So, I'm still confused on the characters right now. Brock is a face. Lashley is a face too, but acts different of Brock Lee. Ewan ko, parang ang weird niya sa akin. Parang, why we're getting this? This is garbage. Come on. Diba? Why is Lashley acting different of Brock Lesnar lately? Like, di pa rin ba siya makamove on do sa Fabio? Okay. Tapos, we have a 6-woman tag. Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan and Natalia versus Asuka, Carmella, and Nikki Cross. Then, Asuka attacked her tag partners. And she got the win. Ewan ko kung eto ba ay maglilid na sa isang Asuka win. But yeah, I hope na I would love to see Asuka versus Bianca, but I want Asuka versus Carmella too. Or Asuka versus Raquel. That would be great too. Or Liv. Sana makakuha tayo ng outcome doon sa Liv thing. Ito, mamaya pag-usapan natin later on. Tapos, we have a main event. Was proposed earlier. Opener of the show. We have Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch versus Bayley. If both of them wins, they are going to be part of the Elimination Chamber this Sunday. But unfortunately, walang nanalo sa kanila. Bianca won. So, walang makapasok sa kanila sa chamber. So, yeah, it's good for us. No? Tapos, yun na yun. The Raw was okay lang. Very okay lang. The promo, I swear to God, you need to watch it. the promo battle between Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. Man, you need to watch this stuff, man. Lately, WWE is very, very good when it comes to building up WrestleMania. And I applaud them for that. And I applaud them for that. I swear to God, I applaud WWE for building this year's WrestleMania. Feels like WrestleMania. So, yun lang naman. For me, this is gonna be our first half of the show. Second half, we're going to discuss NXT. It's gonna be a long NXT talk. Then, on our third half, of course, we're going to preview both Elimination Chamber and Battle in the Valley, some matches of it. We're going to do a preview of that when we come back. Now, so second half, we're going to fully focus on NXT and we're going to take our short break. Let's check our bunkmates on Bunk Collective.
Annyeong, we are One to Sarang.
Your next favorite Hallyu podcast.
We talk K-drama.
Mandaming kilig every time
Oh my
we see
God.
K-drama.
We also talk K-pop.
Yung feeling ko sa 17 na they bring me so much happiness.
And we live to entertain.
What you gonna do when Dicky steak in front of
Check us out now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Also on YouTube. Join us sa tawanan at kwentuhan from One to Sarang.
Okay, so we're back on the podcast. So the show was started with Grayson Waller versus Tyler Bate. And Grayson Waller is feuding with Shawn Michaels at this point due to the suspension or was sanctioned by Shawn Michaels last after noong Vengeance Day. Then Tyler Bate get the win. Then Grayson Waller got thrown out of the building and he never went out of it after the broadcast. Then yun. Yun lang naman. So I'm expecting something new on this. I hope we can get a pick by Shawn Michaels pick versus Grayson Waller at Stand and Deliver. Yun, well, I would love to see that. Then, unfortunately kasi di na makakalaban si Shawn. So of course we're going to deal with representatives at this point. Okay. So we got a Jacy Jayne explanation for the Toxic Attraction split up. So obviously Gigi Dolin is selling her attack from last week. And ayun, medyo alam mo yun. Jacy Jayne, this promo of Jacy Jayne is not that bad. She acts like a heel. She acts like she's the bitch of NXT right now. And now, I can say, sakto lang. I hope Jacy Jayne will improve her promo skills pa. Konti-konti pa. Then si Gigi kasi, if Gigi returns on NXT, that will be a great big pop for her for sure since she's now a baby face. And I hope they beat up living the hell of each other doon sa NXT Roadblock. NXT Roadblock, mamaya pag-usapan natin. Announcement na. Then, Apollo Crews versus Dabba Kato is now set up. No? Seeds na yung, karoon na ng seeds yung feud nila. They're going to feud at this point. Probably Roadblock na yung magiging unang match nila. So, yeah. Also, on the show, we have a upcoming NXT title match. So, Braun Breaker defending the NXT title against Jinder Mahal on next week's NXT. Ito, I have two questions in mind. Number one, kailan pa nagkaroon ng hate si Braun Breaker? Because Braun Breaker is getting a lot of hate. Why? Like, dude, why? Why this dude gets a lot of hate? Like, he got a long reign. He got the best title right now in NXT. He got the second world title in NXT right now. Tapos, ba't nakuha niyo tong hate na to? Why? What's wrong with him? Like, holy fuck, what's wrong with this guy? Wala naman eh. Ewan ko, aminado ako, nagkikriticize ako kay Braun. But it doesn't mean I hate him as champion. O siguro ano, based on his character, we want something new, alright? Tama 'yun, sinabi ko 'yun. Pero why these people are hating on Braun Breaker right now? Like, this is just wrong. This is just bullshit, man. Why you guys are hating on Braun Breaker right now? Parang parang nakakagago eh. Nakakagago lang. Tapos, okay. Continue natin. So, ewan ko, but I'm going to throw this out. The women's tag titles right now, NXT is basically being used as a plot device for the ongoing feud between Briggs and Jensen tsaka the obvious champions, Fallon Henley and Kiana James. I don't know why they're using this tag titles as a plot device of this feud right now. Of this love thing. No? Di ko sinasabing feud. More on a love thing. To, no? Then, so the story here, I forgot my notes here. So, fuck it. Yung si Jensen, Briggs and Jensen, si Jensen specifically, is dating Kiana James. Pero si Fallon Henley is slowly disagreeing with him dating Kiana James despite of them being champions. Then we got this date. And ano may nakakatawa dito na si Briggs and si Fallon Henley, they're disagreeing with him dating Kiana, man. Like, they can't explain the whole thing, no? Tapos, ganun-ganun lang. Wala, they parang tawag dito. Ano man tawag dito sa term? Meron siyang friend calling Zack, as far as I know. I've watched the next barely. Ayun, she have a friend, si Kiana, called Zack. And she said na si Greg na yun. Si Greg ba yun? Si Zack, whatever. Nakalimutan ko yung pangalan. Si Zack ay friend daw ni Kiana James, yung kapatid. Tama pagkarinig ko. But whatever. So, they're building this feud. Obviously, this thing will lead to a mixed tag match. And I feel bad for the tag titles right now. Why they are using this as a plot device? Like, holy fuck, why you guys are using this tag titles as plot device lately? So obviously they use these titles, very specific titles, as plot device when Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade hold the titles. Tandaan nyo, di ba? They use these specific titles as plot device and now they're using this again. Like, I hate it. I hate the idea of people using these titles as plot device. Okay, continue natin. So we have an open challenge for the North American title. Wesley defended the title versus Von Wagner. He's still mid. Tapos, ano ba? Wala na. Thing is not special for me. I'm not impressed on Von Wagner. Von Wagner was pissed after the match. Then he got Mr. Stone, who's pissed too on Von Wagner. Like, Von, manalo ka naman. Takin na nang bumuka kang talunan. I hate this guy, man. Release this guy. Para na tong Corbin ng NXT. Just release this guy. Come on. Okay, so we have a turn on NXT. So Charlie Dempsey versus Hank Walker happened on this week's NXT. Then after of the match, obviously Charlie Dempsey won. Then he was helped by Drew Gulak and Dempsey walked out of the arena together, leaving Hank Walker alone. This is interesting, yes. And we're going to get the build of this feud later on. But I'm interested to see the Charlie Dempsey Drew Gulak connection thing na ito. I would love to see the outcome of this thing. good outcome. I'm still hoping good outcome on this. I have big faith on Shawn Michaels right now because of the booking of Vengeance Day, and now we're getting this thing really good. Now, main event of this week's NXT was a tag team match. Sorry naman, we got a non-title tag team match between Meiko Satomura, the returning Meiko Satomura, and Roxanne Perez versus Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Plus, ayun, so they got the tag titles. I don't know why. And I don't like the Pop Rocks pa din. Hindi pa rin talaga ako convinced na Roxanne is champion this fucking Pop Rocks. Ayun, so Meiko Satomura challenged Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title. Obviously, the commentators are dinidiinan nila yung salitang roadblock on Roxanne Perez, and most likely we're going to get this match on NXT Roadblock few weeks from today, March 7. And yeah, that's pretty much it for our NXT thoughts on this week. Let me know your thoughts on this week's NXT on our podcast platforms, of course. Then, continue natin with Battle in the Valley. So, pag-usapan natin buong third half with the Elimination Chamber. Na. So, earlier today, just Friday, we got some changes for the Eddie Kingston versus Jay White match. So, may stipulation na to. So, if Jay White wins, Eddie Kingston must ask Jay White for the permissions to compete on any New Japan shows and permissions to face any New Japan wrestlers on other companies. So basically, this is a loser leaves New Japan match. No? If Kingston wins, Jay White is out of New Japan for good. So now, si Hikuleo defeated Jay White in a loser leaves Japan match earlier this week. And now we're getting this stipulation matchup. And yun. So I'm hoping for a Jay White win. But feeling ko medyo nakikita ko na Eddie Kingston might win this thing. If si Jay White kasi mananalo, most likely he will sign with AEW and Strong. Wala pa sa vocabulary ko yung WWE signing niya. And meron pa akong nababasa na he might sign for Strong. New Japan Strong. I would like to see him New Japan Strong. And for realistic reasons, AEW. WWE is a big chance though. But wala pa, para siyang para sa akin ba to? 50%, 50-50 pa. 50-50 pa yung chance na pumunta si Jay White sa WWE. Okay. So let's preview the rest of the card for the Battle of the Valley. The co-main events. Ito yung co-main events. First, we have Mercedes Moné versus Kairi for the IWGP Women's title. I don't know, but I feel that Mercedes might win the title just to market this thing, plus the possible Mercedes versus Mickey James match. Their crossover show over on April sa Los Angeles. Ayun, so feeling ko Mercedes Moné will win the title on Kairi. Then the main event was set Kazuchika Okada versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. So, hindi nakakasawa itong feud na to kahit medyo friendly feuds na yung nangyayari. So, Okada might retain the title on the main event of Battle on the Valley, but I expect, ewan ko ba't nag-expect ako kay Kaito dito, no? He might get his revenge soon in the United States, but anything is possible at this point. But yeah, so yeah, that's our preview for some matches for the upcoming Battle in the Valley card. Let me know your thoughts for Battle in the Valley as we go to our third half of the show. We're going to take a short break. Let's check our bunkmates on Bunk Collective.
Hey everyone, this is Mo Twister, and you're listening to the Kingdom Podcast with the voice DJ Yuki.
That was the OG, Mo Twister, promoting this podcast. If you like Korean pop culture, or know someone who does, then get into it, and visit our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages at the Kingdom Pod PH.
We're proud to tell you that this is one of the premier shows to go to for your weekly dose of K-pop. So drop everything and listen to the Kingdom Podcast. Available in all your podcast streaming platforms.
Join us!
Picture this. Two guys talking about true crime,
weird mysteries,
horror stories.
But the conversation is light,
mostly funny,
and sometimes naughty.
This is Scriptsalog,
a Spotify exclusive.
I'm Gideon.
And I'm Glenn. And we're serving huge portions of horror and true crime twice a week.
We'll make sure your cravings are satisfied.
And you'll be begging for more.
Char.
Check us out.
This is Scriptsalog, available exclusively on Spotify.
Ulitin nga natin. Sige natin to. Ayun, so we're back on the podcast. First thing, we need to promote this since mangyayari na to this Sunday from Card Bros Hobby Shop in Quezon City. So the biggest wrestling card event in the country is here. Join them from February 19, the Card Bros Hobby Shop in Quezon City as they held the first ever DexCon, the first wrestling card meet and viewing party. So buy, sell, and even trade while watching WWE Elimination Chamber. And ayun, click the link on the description of the KPIP Cafe post. Ilalagay ko siya sa baba ng post na to mamaya, ng podcast na to. To register for the free event, correctly pick the winner between Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns and get a chance to win a Kurt Angle in-person autograph card. So this event is organized by Wrestling Card Philippines, Fight Sport Manila, KFIB Cafe, Channel 14, Manila Wrestling Federation, and the World Underground Wrestling Philippines. So if you're looking for viewing party this Sunday, you can go there and the Card Bros Hobby Shop in Quezon City for DexCon, the first wrestling card meet and viewing party. So mangyayari yung Sunday on Feb 19, 9 a.m. yung event. So most likely 9 a.m. din. Mag-uumpisa yung meet doon sa Card Bros in Quezon City. Okay. So it's time to predict the official Elimination Chamber cards. Elimination Chamber will take place Sunday. This Sunday here in the Philippines. 9 a.m. Manila time. Exclusively on Disney Plus. We're still hoping for the Tagalog commentary. Airs to Disney Plus. Sorry about that. While I'm meeting. Okay, so this PLE will be televised this Sunday at 9 a.m. on Disney Plus. Wala pa tayong Tagalog commentary. We're not sure yet if we're going to get the Tagalog commentary on Disney Plus. So let's start with the first match of the possible card now. It's the Women's Elimination Chamber match. It's Raquel Rodriguez, Nikki ASH or Nikki Cross, Asuka, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Natalia. So this card is based on the Final Four from the recent Royal Rumble. Technically, Panel 5 minus reality. So, let's predict this. Ito, mahirap sa akin to kasi they're building Asuka. Carmella just made her return. Then Raquel, binibuild din nila si Raquel after her loss versus Ronda months ago. Tapos, Natalia obviously crowd favorite because of her hometown. Babe. It's hard for me to be honest na i-predict ito. I'm hitting right now. Sorry about that. Kasi gutom ako. Okay, i-predict natin itong match na to. I'm gonna go with Asuka here. Very obvious Asuka win. But I would love to see Carmella winning the title match too. Or maybe Raquel. Why not Raquel, di ba? they're pushing Raquel to the moon. And definitely, I would love to see Raquel winning the title match here as well. No. Then, we have Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor. I wish this match is a tornado match. No. Sayang, hindi natin nakuha yun. But yeah, it's a tag team mixed tag match set for EC as well. Obviously, I don't want Rhea and Balor lose kasi Rhea is on way to WrestleMania. Is on her way to WrestleMania. So it's possible, so it's impossible at this point to see Rhea Ripley lose, right? But Edge, di rin siya possible matalo eh. In a way na ganyan. So, safely, si Beth ang magpapatalo dito. So, I'm gonna go with Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor. Then, big match, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, Battle of the Goliaths. Okay. Personally, I'm gonna go with Lashley here. Kasi, he needs the win. Like, pag nanalo si Brock, anong makukuha niya? Nothing. Ayun, so medyo logical na siya. So, I'm gonna go with Brock here. Ay, with Lashley here. Para lang medyo magkaroon pa ng edge. Then, WrestleMania, Brock will win the match, settle the feud for all. Then, yan. Set up. No? Well, naman. Again, kumakain ako. Sorry kung di-disturb kayo habang kumakain ako. Okay. So, let's continue with the men's elimination chamber for the United States title. It's Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Montez Ford, and Damian Priest. So, obvious naman to. A Austin Theory win, but I don't want Austin Theory na last na labas. Mukhang nakakagago naman. Mukha siya nakakagago if tatanungin niyo ako. I want a Austin Theory na dominant. Like something. 3-4 eliminations. Okay na yun. I want a dominant Austin Theory. Not asshole Austin Theory. Ayun lang naman. Sa akin. Ewan ko sa inyo kung anong gusto nyo kay Theory. Okay. Main event. Hindi naman ako kakain. Para matakal natin mabuti. Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE Universal title. So, at this point, everyone has changed. Everything has changed in this match. Maraming nagbago sa buong match na to. Di natin alam kung sino i-predict. Pero sige, let's do the math. Nagapag na lang tayo ng mathematics logic dito. Roman Reigns obviously is going to win the match. Kung how, yun ang hindi natin alam. So most likely, baka maulit yung kay Drew doon sa Clash of the Castle. Feeling ko mauulit yun dito sa match na to. The possibilities are endless. I swear, the possibilities are endless for this feud. But I'm still hoping for a Sami title win. I would love to see that. That's one of the biggest miracles. If they did. But yeah, I'm gonna go for Sami. I'm gonna go with Roman here, obviously. For obvious reasons. And yeah. Let me know your thoughts and predictions for the upcoming Elimination Chamber by following and commenting our thoughts on the comment section of our podcast predictions. So yeah, ito naman sa akin. And let me know your thoughts on the Chamber match. Next Friday, pag-usapan natin yung aking ideal WrestleMania main event. So, wala, sinabi ko na yung thoughts ko na nakaraan about the main events eh. Kaya di ko na itatako yun sa whole. Diba? Yun lang naman. So, yeah. Okay, so nag-post lang ako just a bit. No? Inayos kasi ako. Ayun, so let's do our pick of the week. Okay. So, woman of the week is obviously Gigi Dolin and Jacy Jayne. I picked them both as a tandem. Kasi they did the split up, a really good split up for the Toxic Attraction storyline. And I really, really love the split. No? I swear to God, I love how they split up. No? Then, the wrestler of the week, Cody Rhodes. Man, no questions asked. Just watch the promo between Cody and Paul Heyman. That will be great for all of you guys. Match of the week. Easy. Bryan Danielson versus Rush for Dynamite earlier last week. No? So, yun lang naman. Thoughts for picks of the week. Para sa akin, most likely next week, yung ating i-release natin Monday na. Monday na ulit. No? Yeah, Monday na ulit. So, dito na natatapos yung ating podcast this week. So, follow the podcast on all of the social media platforms at the MTG Show Pod. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/at the MTG Show Pod. Please donate and support the podcast. Subscribe and support the podcast on Gank and Patreon. ganknow.com/the MTG Show Pod or patreon.com/the MTG Show Pod. As low as $1 a month, you can access our subscriber-only content. Plus, you can join our discussions. More to come really, really soon. For more podcasts, obviously, visit our website, thebunkph.com. You can support us on all the social media platforms at the MTG Show Pod and, of course, Bunk Collective. Join our Discord server. Discord server is on the link in the description and on Bunk Discord server, dsc.gg/bunk. Podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and the rest of the fuck it. Kakain ko yung microphone ko. The podcast is available on every podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and the rest of the podcast platform, and on the podcast app, which is available on Google Play Store. So, please support the upcoming FPW event on Feb 19 as well, Sunday yon. Then, on March 5, we're going to have the first ever Chili Willy Wrestling Cup by MWF. So, yeah, Chili Willy will be acknowledged on March 5 at the event as well, introduced by MWF. I swear they're going to do something with this Chili Willy Wrestling Cup. I hope na sana may title shot yung mananalo dito for the World Title, MWF World Title. I hope MWF will pitch this idea as well na World Title yung reward. And then that will be great. Then ayun, i-support all of our local wrestling scene. Panoorin nyo yung Eyewitness sa Facebook and YouTube ng GMA Public Affairs. And yeah, i-support all of the wrestling shows, all of the wrestling podcasts, and of course, our Bug Collective shows. Ayun, paalala nyo na lang ha. Kulitin nyo si Yuki na i-acknowledge. Paalalahan nyo na lang si Yuki na he should acknowledge Roman Reigns as soon as possible para meron tayong podcast next week. So, if natalo si Roman Reigns next week, wala akong podcast. Mag-expect na kayo doon. So, yun. That's it for our episode. See you next week or next week. Kasi probably he's betting against Roman Reigns. So, see you next week for another episode of the MT Show podcast in cooperation with Bong Collective. See you on the next episode. Stay safe, stay wrestle. We're out. Bye-bye.